Damage, grande, what the fuck? Estava mesmo nada à espera que esta merda demorasse tanto tempo. Ok. Jesus. Bro, e não foi pouco. Fuck you, man. Isto já está running. Stop. Play. The fuck? Ah, bro. This organ, man, is not in the front when it's specific to website TTT backstab games mais definida, vai ser específica nos warnings. Bem, já que dizes. Black. This flickering image effects as well as parallax effects cause motion sickness in players. If it black heavy games. Stand para o mid-skull que estou a content warning está aqui. The following is a list of specific exposed will be avoided. There are rare flashing images in the game. So if that's all, yes. Male nudity. Is motivation. Depictions of knife wounds, loss of self, cosmic cores, being eaten alive. É pá, isto tem jumpscares, não sei se curto, mano. Ok, eu acho que isto só tem um jumpscare. Mentira, dois. Chapter 2 também tem. Maybe I don't know, does it count? Tell me. I guess tem dois jumpscares. É rezar. Auroras you may find in these dark spaces have a heart and see them through. There are no premature endings, there are no wrong decisions. And if I suppose this is a love story. References. What the fuck is winking CTC? Effect, parallax effect, flickering images. Accessibility. Jesus. Font override seja text coming when space record is self-voicing. Self-voicing? What? Huh? ايه اخسر.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Okay.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Ia com caralho, tanta merda. End of the world, what are you talking about? Have you considered... Quem eu penso seems kind of bad though. Can someone else do it? I'm not doing this. Have you considered that maybe I'm okay? Sounds like it coming. Oh, if...
Yes, but you'll have to slay her before you get it.
Can you tell me what my prize is?
It's a secret, but I think you'll like it. It's a special reward, just for you. And whatever you think it might be, I can promise you it's going to be even better than your wildest imagination. I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her. Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you. Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey.
You consider that maybe... Just continue the rules because she's...
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock. Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up. And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
Dá para tipo... No. Skip auto. What the fuck is this? No. Save, okay.
Oh, if only that were the case, but I don't make the rules. I have to say I'm surprised at your reluctance thus far, but unfortunately for the both of us, you're the only one who can pull this off. Like I said, I don't make the rules, no matter how much I wish I did.
Okay, this was kind of a...
Does it? Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a fisherman or a miller or a seamstress? If anything, slaying a princess is much better than slaying a seamstress. Seamstresses contribute something of value to society.
Shots fired.
Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? Nobody wants the world to end. I mean, maybe some people do, nihilists, or very, very evil people, but surely you're not one of those, right? Don't mention it. It's all part of the job. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
Oh, o rato
The door
muda.
to the basement
Isso é
creaks
fixe.
open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
You walk
Fica
down the
miúdo.
stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world? Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Não é. Ok, é caught me mute, no. It's the.
That isn't a good idea. Just drop the knife, and maybe the two of us can talk things out.
She's right, we shouldn't. We should just drop the blade. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us. You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
Oh? No talking then? Fine. What even makes you think you can kill me? I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
If she isn't.
You go into this expecting to die, you're going to die.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop the knife and the two of us can be civilized with each other?
You charge the princess, blade trembling in your hand, but you've already lost the battle. She casually sidesteps your thrust before knocking you to the ground with a single blow from her elbow.
We shouldn't have hesitated.
But she doesn't stop there. She kicks you a few times for good measure, the pointed tip of her shoes feeling like a pickaxe against your fracturing bones, making sure you stay down. As you lie, crushed and broken on the basement floor, the princess kneels on your throat with the kind of weight you didn't think her slight frame could possibly possess. As you gasp for air, she eyes you with an intense curiosity. You shouldn't have let that fear creep into your heart. You had the upper hand, and now look at you.
Is this really the best you could do? Look at you. Completely broken. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed.
She applies more pressure, slowly squeezing what's left of your life out of your lungs. This is the end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Damn. Just fucking died. That's
You're
it.
on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Getting a terrible sense of deja vu.
A terrible sense of deja vu? No, you don't have that. This is the first time either of us have been here. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. What does it matter what he knows? There's nothing we can do to stop her. She's just going to kill us again. She is not going to kill you unless you let her. But slaying the princess and saving the world is going to be much more difficult than it has to be if you spend the whole time second-guessing yourself.
This man is just pretty sure this something great just happened.
It hasn't. Or if it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I.
So I'm telling the truth, and all this rude just happened. I should have
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me. Of course we died. We couldn't land a single blow on her, and she broke every bone in our body before she decided to let us die. What were we supposed to do to stop her then? What are we supposed to do to stop her now? It's pointless. She's just a princess. Slaying her shouldn't have been difficult, but congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. The princess killed us and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would? If she ended the entire world, why should we even bother? We might as well just walk up to that cabin, break her chains and let her do whatever she wants. It's all the same in the end. Just because she's capable of ending the world doesn't mean you're not capable of slaying her. Both of those things can be true at the same time. So chin up. I believe in you. Just be quick about it.
You killed me last time around. I'm gonna make sure that.
Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job and save the world.
What she do last time around? It's been me to death. Something like that in the world.
She just can. Believe me, I wish I could tell you more, but you'll just have to trust that what I'm saying is true, and that, despite it all, you're fully up to the task that's been given to you. We're not. We might as well just pledge ourselves to her and stop pretending that we're capable of doing anything in this situation. She probably doesn't even need to try to overpower us. Can we tone down the pessimism just a smidge? I'm not being a pessimist. I'm just being realistic. You're being annoying. Just ignore their bickering, and whatever you do, don't pledge yourself to her. I cannot stress enough how absolutely catastrophic that would be for everyone, yourself included. People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
Walked her away. I wouldn't, I swear. I just want.
Look, I'm not supposed to say this, but it's because you're special.
No bullshit.
You're the only person capable of doing this. Call it a prophecy, if that helps, but it's just the way things are. Oh, I didn't know we were special. Of course you're special. Why else would you be here?
Who cares if you think we're special? As far as I can tell, the only thing special about us is that we get to experience painfully dying all over again.
You're being cagey.
I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail will just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult. The less you know about her, the better. Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from lying.
Cheating?
Okay.
Why would she even bother? She didn't need to do anything like that last time. She caught us off guard last time. We'll be fine. Let's just keep our wits about us. At least one of you still has a shred of sense. Just make sure you listen to him, and not that whiner. If that's what you want, I guess I don't have a say here.
The interior
What
of the
the fuck?
cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a massive marble altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Why do we feel so small?
We don't feel small. We are small.
You didn't say anything about the middle last time. What?
You take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess. That's because there isn't a mirror. There's the altar, the blade sitting on the altar, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't.
Who cares if there's a mirror? We're all going to die anyway. And I'm sure that if we looked in there, we'd just see something sad and miserable looking back at us. We don't need any reminders of what we are. It would only make things worse.
For the last time, you're not going to die unless you let it happen. And luckily for you, there isn't a mirror, so no one needs to worry about confronting a grisly visage any time in the near future. Though, for what it's worth, if there were a mirror, I'm sure that you wouldn't find anything sad or miserable in it looking back at you. You probably look perfectly normal. Probably. Do you not know what we look like?
He knows. He just doesn't have the heart to tell us.
I care about the I want to walk at myself and so on somewhere.
As do I. And yeah, there is. I'm not lying to you. Use your eyes. There is no mirror. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? That you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done. You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now.
We should count ourselves lucky. Some things are better left unseen.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a spiral staircase. Its steps almost as deep as you are tall. The smell of incense drifts up from below. For a moment, you almost feel at ease.
This is actually kind of nice.
It's still a stone basement. If the
princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her booming voice rolls up the stairs.
Is that a guest I hear? Don't linger on the stairs. Come down and witness me.
You weren't kidding when you said it was booming. She wasn't like this last time. We need to get down there. She wants us to see her. We need to see her.
Should we be worried about your sudden change in attitude? Just a few minutes ago you were going on about how pointless everything was. Now you want to go down there.
It doesn't matter what that little voice says. He's not the one making the decisions. Though if his ramblings get you to the princess, they get you to the princess. Making your way down the spiral staircase is a time-consuming and exhausting effort, every step requiring you to clamber over one edge before dropping to the next. But soon the end comes into view, and you tumble to the bottom, entering the vast, temple-like room beyond. The princess towers over you, almost glowing in the
Oh,
weak
whoa,
starlight,
what the fuck?
her figure framed by a stained glass window. Her long hair billows around her, and a chain binds her wrist to the far wall. The chain is nothing to her. It might as well be a toy for all the good it would do. I told you it was pointless to resist her.
The little bird has returned to me. I wonder what he wants. You've brought that knife again, even though you know it's useless. Such charming audacity. Drop it.
As if on command, the blade slips from your grasp. It clatters uselessly to the floor, but we didn't drop it. We decided to grip it tighter, remember? Are you really just going to let that happen to us? I have a duty to report facts as facts, and the fact is that you dropped the blade. Of course we dropped it. She's so much more than us. You wouldn't understand what it feels like to be in her presence. Oh, I understand what's going on, and you'd better snap yourself out of it.
Kneel.
No.
Oh, are you still trying to defy me? I said kneel.
Your legs buckle, and your knees hit the floor.
That's my good little bird. Now, why don't we talk? The last time we met, you couldn't even scratch me. And yet here you are again, trying to succeed where you've already catastrophically failed. What draws you back here beyond the empty halls of death? Speak.
The last time we met? I suppose that lends credence to our conversation in the woods. Still, whatever you do, don't tell her why you're here. It's best not to give her any ideas.
Perhaps you need another lesson in submitting to your betters. Pick up that needle.
Do it. It's what she wants. No objections here. I don't know what she's planning, and I don't like that we don't know what she's planning, but we might as well pick up the blade. As your eye falls on the blade, you feel a weight. Some divine hand that sits unperceived by your senses, but that manages to push you towards its desires like an unseen puppeteer.
Are you going to spend me?
You reach forward and grasp the blade.
Stand.
This one's easy. See? This isn't so bad.
Okay, yeah. We can do that. We were...
Ah, shit.
You can feel a creaking tension between body and will as you slowly rise to your feet, like two foes forced into an unhappy truce. The princess eyes you with soft contemplation. The moment seems to last a lifetime, the silent anticipation of what's to come dragging out the long, painful seconds. But all silences are broken eventually.
To define me is to claim we stand on level ground. We do not. You are quiet shadow, while I am brilliant radiance. Take that knife in your hand and slit your throat.
What? You don't have to listen to her. You're armed.
Just steel your nerves, step forward, and end this.
Oh, we'll end this all right.
Your hand
Push.
lifts the blade and brings it towards your throat. Okay, I apologize for the unclear language. End her.
So
Your body is sluggish and unresponsive, actively fighting against you, but you do your best to stagger forward. One step at a time, you move towards the princess.
Slitting your throat would have been a mercy, but it seems you're in need of a harsher lesson. Plunge that knife into your lungs.
I'm sorry.
Don't! As you take another
Shit.
step forward, the blade digs into your ribs, slicing through flesh with ease. It somehow feels like an entirely natural thing to do, while the simple act of walking has become an arduous impossibility. Then it slides back out, the wound burning as a small hiss of air escapes through the fresh orifice. Blood fills your lungs.
Now, do it again. Keep doing it until I give you permission to stop.
Those are just words. You don't have to listen to her.
It's what she wants.
You, heroic one, what are you doing? Don't just let this happen. Stop him from killing you. I'm on it. Your other hand locks around your wrist, struggling to keep it from perforating vital organs. But the blade still flails towards you, managing to slice bits of skin that plop to the floor to join the growing pile of blood and gore beneath you. Despite the pain, you manage to keep yourself in one piece, at least for now.
What a pitiful display. A wounded little bird thinking it can defy a god. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to hurt so much. You can choose a gentle end. You can choose to leave that punctured vessel for the next. Or you can pathetically struggle against yourself until the floor of this temple is painted with the bloody impressions of your futility.
You continue to approach the princess, even as the repeated gouges of your blade expose bone and muscle to the open air of the basement. You know, this would be a lot easier if you gave us a hand. My influence only goes so far, and I can only juggle so many things at once. The best I can do right now is to continue to drive you forward. Believe me, this whole ordeal would be so much easier if I didn't have to contend with free will.
You're the one making things difficult. You're the one making us hurt. She doesn't want to hurt us. She's just doing what she has to.
Stop.
As you finish crossing the room, you fall to your knees at the princess's feet, your chest heaving as your blood pools in the crevices of the stone floor, the coppery taste coating your throat. The princess kneels down, lifting your chin with her finger as her face lowers to yours.
Your devotion is misplaced. You've surrendered to delusion. But something about your defiant spirit speaks to me. You are different than you were before. Perhaps, if you've learned your lesson, I can spare you from the release of death. There's a place at my side for you, if you'll have it. Not as an equal, but as something worthy to be kept. A priest, perhaps, or a pet.
Well, that's the meaning, isn't it? Yes, how thoughtful of her. It's a mercy. Take it. I think he's given up whatever say he had at the start of all this. At least one of you is sane. She's within striking distance, and she's only negotiating now because she knows you have what it takes to put an end to her. Seize the moment before it's too late.
Put yourself to war.
Yes. Though your body trembles, struggling to defend itself in the face of the princess's overwhelming will, you finally manage to break through, darting to her side before she can react. The wind of your freedom rushes through you, and you channel it into a decisive blow, stabbing into the soft flesh of her ankle and severing the tendons in an act of unyielding defiance. She falls to the floor, crying unceremoniously to her knees. But you don't give her any time to recover. Your heart pounding with determination, you plunge your blade into her chest. As you find your target again and again, she laughs, crude emotion breaking through her once stony composure as your blade cuts her flesh. We can do this, can't we? You always could. The decision to give you this task was not made lightly. You're here for a reason.
It's not too late to pick up the pieces. It's not too late to toss that blade aside and beg for forgiveness.
Shut up.
I can't believe you would actually strike me. You heathen! You worm! You defiler! You don't know the consequences of your arrogance!
Before you can strike the final blow, the princess lashes out, knocking you off your feet. There's an unsettling wet pop as your spine breaks, numbness and pain spreading through your body. As you rebound towards the ceiling in a moment of disorientated lightness, she drives her fist into your chest. Your body is crushed as she pulverizes you into the floor, the ground itself breaking from the impact. You lie there, broken, beyond pain, unable to even see what she's done to you. But the princess is succumbing to her own wounds as well. She looks down upon her body in abject horror and disgust.
You made me use my hands. I can feel myself twisting into something new, something dull, something defiled. What have you done to me?
You're monsters and conspirators. I can't bear to watch this. The princess has been nothing but cruel to you. You should feel liberated by her fall. But I don't feel liberated. I feel empty. Aside from the pain, I feel fine. She collapses to the floor. Her glassy eyes watch, unblinking, yet somehow still full of anguish and fear, as the two of you perish together. I suppose we were never gonna get a happy ending here, were we? Don't let those be your final thoughts. You saved the world. That's worth something, I guess. Regardless of how you feel about it, it's finally over. Thank you. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Damn. Rip. What the fuck?
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of the path... Okay, what the hell is that? I think he's upset. And what's he got to be upset about? We just killed a god.
Exactly. You heathens destroyed the most beautiful thing that ever was, and ever will be.
Can't say I have much sympathy for you. She was bad for us, and you almost got us killed. You're being too generous. He did get us killed. All right, enough chatter. I've got a thing I'm supposed to do, and if you don't mind, I'd like to do it without any more interruptions. Okay, great, you're listening. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a... If your thing is telling us about the princess, don't waste your breath. We know all about her, and it's hardly a path in the woods at this point, is it? Look, if the world around you is changing, especially all the way out here, then that means you're nearing the point of no return. Whatever happens next, that's it. There won't be any more do-overs. So you'd better take things seriously.
Feels like I'm being pulled in those directions. Listen to me when the time comes to make a choice.
So what if I'm speaking my mind? It's not like I've ever really got to say anything.
What a crock of shit.
Okej,
Yeah, you stabbed
no to masz
yourself
powiedz,
repeatedly.
że należy do Moreno.
It didn't even work. It doesn't count.
We died! If you didn't submit to her, for all we know, that wouldn't have happened.
It's the punishment you all deserved for not listening to her.
Aside from our sulking friend, I don't think you have much to worry about. You're still the one in charge here, and I don't think that's ever going to change. Second he tries something, I'll put a stop to it.
If we disband of no return, you mentioned, then what
Then
happened?
what happens? Have you even been listening? It's the end is what happens. Yeah, but is there something after the end? How am I supposed to know? The end means finality. It's not like I can just peek on over to the other side and tell you what it's like there. If there even is a there, it doesn't matter because we're going to win. Now that's exactly the sort of mindset I like to see. Don't let yourself be consumed with self-doubt. Don't flirt with oblivion. Just focus on the present and everything will be absolutely fine.
happens next seems like occurrences.
Good, we're all on the same page. It isn't long before you find yourself at the end of the park, staring up at the cabin on the hill. You'll find the princess within, as I'm sure you already know. End her. That's it? No final words of advice? I'd rather not waste any more time. I'm sure that any advice I'd give at this point is something you've already heard.
If there's still a princess in the cabin, maybe we can salvage things. Maybe if we just grovel and apologize, things can go back to how they were before.
Oh, cut it out, will you? We need to be tough right now. You're making it so much harder than it has to be, so stop whining. The interior of the cabin is a place that feels long forgotten. There was once an elegance to its construction, carved marble columns holding a high-arched roof, vaulted windows letting in the weak starlight. But that is how it was. Now there is a growth that has overtaken it. A viscous fluid seeps from cracks in the stone walls, and it congeals into chaotic streaks of writhing nerves and wet clumps of living meat.
That's horrible.
You did this. The only furniture of note is a pulsating pedestal, a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Set mirror again, and this time it's for the door.
There is no mirror. We've done this already. Try to keep up. The repetition is maddening. I don't know what to tell you. There isn't a mirror because I would know if there was a mirror. You're either seeing things or you're confused on the definitions of door and mirror. Or you're seeing things. That seems far more likely. What are you trying to say, exactly?
He thinks we've lost it. That we're succumbing to madness, that something in us has broken.
That's an unnecessarily melodramatic way to describe a hallucination, but sure. I'm not going to waste time arguing with any of you. It went away after we touched it last time. Let's just do it again. You take the blade from the pedestal. It will be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Good. Nothing feels better than gripping cold steel. You step forward and approach the door to the basement, hesitating before you open it. As if you don't see it. You really don't, do you? How strange. It really is just like last time. Are we really hallucinating? Why here? Why now?
Smash it. Smash it to pieces. It's the only thing keeping us from her.
Don't you want to know what we'll see in there? We won't be able to see anything if we smash it. Nah, I'm with him on this one. Smash it. Let's get violent already. Do whatever you want with it. The mirror isn't real, so how you handle it doesn't matter, aside from wasting dangerous amounts of time. You reach forward and drag your hand across the door leading to the basement. As if on command, it slowly slides open, scraping against the stone floor, its ancient hinges moaning as it reveals the dim path ahead. Why am I not surprised? You step forward into the darkness. The stairs leading down to the basement are at once both narrow and grandiose. A high-vaulted ceiling stretches up into a gloom beyond your sight, while walls wet with tumorous growths press in uncomfortably at your sides. You feel both unprotected and trapped, at once exposed and claustrophobic. The air is thick, its odor an oppressive violence, the metallic scent of fresh blood twisting with the nauseating embers of charred remains. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice, a bellowing rage, roars up the stairs.
Was severing the tendons of my ascension not enough for you? Was it not enough to rend my divine heart? Come, see the horrors you've wrought upon my flesh, and feel my hands set upon your throat. See how you've soured my once divine melody.
She's so angry with us. Why? Why did you desecrate her? Why couldn't I stop you?
You've got to stop thinking about her like that. It isn't doing anyone any good. She's not some untouchable god. She's an abomination, and we're going to put an end to her once and for all.
Whatever she is now is our fault. If she's an abomination, then what does that make us?
It doesn't matter what we are. She needs slaying, and we've got the means to do it, so let's get a move on. If I might interject, you didn't make her into an abomination. She's always been what she is. It's why you're here, and it's why your task is so important. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. The chamber's walls are painted in blood, a deep, sickening red that drips down in clotted streams onto the charred corpses that make up its floor. This place reeks of torment, of ripped skin and burning bone.
Parece posto bacana com conflitos internos matar uma cena destas.
Princess stands in its
Oh
center,
fuck.
muscles flayed and bare and weeping, draped in a tattered dress of her own skin. Her heart beats from its place in her open chest.
Do you know what I'm going to do to you?
There's not so much a moment of hesitation before she steps forward. Her chains pull taut, holding fast as she strains against them. The cuff around her wrist digs deeper into her skin. Blood drips from the place where metal meets flesh. And then, with a nauseating sound, the skin tears. It plops to the ground, and she pulls her red, glistening arm free from her bindings. She is loose, and she's coming for you. Let her end it. It's the punishment you all deserve for what you did to her. It's the punishment I deserve for letting it happen. Screw that. We can win. We've done it before, and we'll do it again, only this time we'll make it out the other side. Hell, she's practically done most of the work for us.
What happened to you? We don't have to do this. I'm sorry, okay? We're doing the princess.
You'll try. And that's what I've been so excited for. Let's hurt each other.
Your heart free of fear, you charge towards the princess, your eyes locked on each other, both of you prepared to lay down your very essence in one blow. It's now or never. Let's make it a beautiful blaze of glory. With a horrifying squelch, you are unwound. No, that's our stuff. She can't just do that. She just did. Unfortunate, I know, but reality is reality.
You should all just be grateful she's decided to keep us alive. Even in her defilement, she is merciful.
We're not out for the count just yet.
You damn cheater. Give me my insights back.
But the words don't leave your metaphorical mouth. Instead, all that leaves you is a wet and horrible gurgling as tissue vibrates out of place. Our metaphorical mouth.
You don't have the means to speak anymore, do you? How tragic. It is tragic, though, isn't it? I'm not satisfied dividing fear and indignation from your eyes alone. A quivering mound of flesh is no companion.
She snaps her fingers, and the basic form of a vocal system assembles before you.
Now, little bird, what was it you wanted to tell me?
I said give me my insights back.
Oh yes, because begging is going to help with this one.
It's better than the alternative. She's in control here. Without her mercy, there's nothing we can do.
I don't think she wants to give us mercy.
I didn't think I'd see you begging so quickly. How pathetic. In another life, I might have even thought it was adorable. But all it does now is fill me with contempt.
Just submit already. What is there left for us to do?
So must submit. This control to your broken body in a way worse. It's your fault.
Skin flayed and organs flapping, you charge towards the princess. That's right. She'll never stop us.
Still you defy your god. I've made the mistake of underestimating your resolve before. Never again.
You swing for her heart. What's left of you explodes. So that's it. It's over. Just like that.
Of course it's over. It's been over since the very first moment we laid eyes on her.
This is the final note of your discordant melody. You will not return again.
because you will live in that single tone forever.
No! No! It's not over! We're a god killer! We've returned from death itself twice!
Didn't you hear her? We're not dead.
What's the difference? From many perspectives, there isn't one. But functionally, that is, from your perspective, the difference is massive. You are entirely laid bare, spread to each corner of the room. Yet you are wholly aware of the state you're in. Incapable of movement, but entirely capable of perception. In fact, perceiving your state is the only thing you can currently do. You are preserved, perfectly, in the amber of her torment.
We're more than this. We've lost bodies before. We just have to lose this one and make another.
How are we supposed to lose this one? I didn't do anything random. It's not with me. She's going to get worse, she gets worse every time.
Who said anything about getting to a new cabin? No, we make something new here.
It won't matter if you do. She'll just pull us apart again.
And preferably, we make something without him.
How are we supposed to lose this one?
I don't know. You're the one who makes things happen, so make it happen.
Shit, this was for the next.
Absolutely not. I refuse to let you just decide to die with your task unfinished. If you die here, the world is doomed.
But you do die. There's a great release as you lose your grip. What's left of your flesh and blood, and yet you are still here.
You're right. Where the hell are you? Are you already at the princess? This place is different. Rotten. Death all around us. I want to go back.
So you've returned already, and I remain here. Is this our final destination?
The princess tilts her head to look at you, and with a gesture, you are unwound. Again? Already?
Clearly I left you with too much room last time. Perhaps this cell will hold you better.
You know what to do. Again.
There you go. Again you relinquish your body, and again you find yourself here, but somewhere else.
She's gorgeous.
Absolutely
divine.
You, guy who describes things, you better start saying what we do this time.
And what are you?
Attacking her, obviously.
Right. You charge towards the princess and...
There is no spark in you, only matter devoid of life.
you explode.
Again.
And again. Let yourself go, and you are having once more.
We are not on a fucking path. I have no idea where we are.
We're in the middle of a fight, so act like it.
So you are. Okay, you dive towards the princess and we're unwound? Yes. Her head swivels creakily on her neck, fire in her eyes as your body unravels with blinding pain.
No.
Again.
Again. You have no body, you exist, you are
Well,
No time. You narrate now.
Yes, of course. Pristine blade grasped firmly in your hands, you fly towards the princess before she can turn to face you. You might actually do it this time.
I can feel that body of yours slicing through the air. How many more times will I have to scatter you?
As she turns towards you, the very essence of your being begins to flake away. Your muscles, then organs, then nerves laid bare and screaming as the rest of you is stripped of substance.
Oh, boo-hoo. It's just a body.
It just needs to last long enough to sink this blade into her heart.
It doesn't last. You are disintegrated. Everything goes dark.
But there is no you to die.
How many times do I need to pulverize you before you finally understand? You are nothing. An empty void that dared to dream it was alive.
That feels right.
If we're nothing, then why are we still here?
Because we always have been. If we're nothing, then how can we do anything? The same way we always have. Being nothing has never stopped us. Now end this. End her.
You cannot win if you cannot be.
A forces towards the princess. Suppose threads of texture pull from an all compassing.
How? I've scattered the atoms you clung to and there is nothing there to find. You can't exist.
But I exist, bitch! Threads pierce her heart.
It's
Cradle
over.
spirit.
Oh, I think I understand you now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do the things I did to you. I don't think I knew what I was doing.
She sounds genuine. They always do in the end.
It's cold, but I'm going to be okay, right?
Huh? In the midst of an angel's scar. You do not get a chance to respond. Something has taken her away. Something else in
She's
her
gone.
place.
Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
I don't know where she went. I don't know. The mirror is gone. I think I'm supposed to look at the mirror.
He is. Does that mean the world ended? He was never going to outlast her.
The world didn't end. We're still here. Come on. We just need to keep going.
There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should.
Screw the mirror. We just need to find the princess.
Ignore the cowards. You have to look.
Opa. I know where she went. I don't know where.
Right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing.
It's like it's mocking us.
Don't bother looking for her. I'm sure it's just a waste of time.
Oh hell no,
I'm
brother.
begging you, don't do this.
Ignore him. The mirror never scared you.
It's different now. It feels, I don't know, final.
Oh hell no, brother. You approach the mirror. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone, but the mirror remains. It's time for you to see what. You're one in a place that is empty and quiet here. Olha ela! You're at the cabin.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
Where are you? You know the way? If it's in me. Ia com caralho, tem mais opções, mano. You know about the world. Are you the princess?
She is part of me, and part of me is her.
But were you always the princess or are you part of me? Huh? Or are you just making her a part of yourself?
You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends?
What are you?
I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you?
Eu acho que sou pássaro, pois só trabalho só tio, man.
Thoughts without connections. A dim and nascent network. I wish to be more.
What do you think I am? I don't know what I am.
I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks. Yes, nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond. Perspectives to make my own. This one is desecration. She placed the weight of her agony on you, yet it is she who unwound herself. There is passion and empathy buried under her unfeeling skin. She will make for a weathered heart. Do not mourn her. She has finally found peace. How can the world have ended if we are talking? You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us.
Where you was.
You are familiar, but you are not me. I feel sadness, longing, hope as I witness you. I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here, and I too yearn to be free.
You know, but what's been this place?
I know only that they are.
There are others.
I'm sorry. There are some changes that can never be undone. There are some tears that can never be unshed. This is not a place that can hold a fragment of a concept. The moment she arrived here, she was going to return to me. I promise that it doesn't hurt.
What happens now?
Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
How much will I forget?
Everything, until we meet again.
I'm just scared that I'll find a way to kill you.
I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
How many more pieces of you do I have to find?
More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home.
And what if I don't let you do this to me?
Then we will be here forever, as we are now. Unfinished, dry, hollow.
I was sent to say the princess to stop her from destroying the world if I help you. Is that what you're gonna do?
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
You're being semantic. What are you going to do if I help you?
How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated.
I'm not going back. Fuck you.
If you need time, then I'll wait with you.
Wait forever.
You are as I am now, and forever is a long time to remain undone. I am not you, but I know that I would return before forever was finished. What textures will you leave for yourself to occupy forever? Will you place the images of you and I into a box for safekeeping? If you close that box, will you become another you in another world? An imaginary pattern repeating itself until it can no longer bear the weight of its hand-drawn cage. You'll always come back to the box, because you'll always want to know what it means to be you. I will be here waiting by your side until you're ready to return to mine.
Oh shit. Fechou o jogo. God damn. Estava à espera disso. It's kinda cool. The fuck?
You have returned to me.
Oh,
Though you were gone mere moments, I never left your side.
huh? Isto continuou aqui? Okay, make me forget.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Everything goes dark when you die. Bring the fury to her.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And you're here to slay her.
Over. But you can skip previously seen the baiting Tev or R1 Octo. Okay. Oh shit, trzeba coisas. Fuck you.
Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave? Do you even know where you're going?
I'm gonna do that. Forgot about that. Depends on where I was. Why? Yes, I don't know where I'm going. Oh. The only thing that matters is where I'm not going. I'm actually pretty okay with the world ending. I wish to come in when you're done. I'm gonna go walk the
There won't
upstairs.
be a new dawn if the world ends. There'll just be nothing forever. Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin.
Good. What we're being asked to do here is wrong. Better to wash our hands of this whole situation than to take part in it.
Ignore that annoying little voice. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all.
Turn around again and
You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies. Like, dies. Forever.
I don't care, I'm not killing a princess. Good, maybe I even should. It's what I get from dumping me. In the words that ask me to kill someone for them. You're not emotionally blackmailing me into doing this.
Stakes and consequences aren't emotional blackmail. They're facts of life, and if you had an ounce of maturity, you'd understand that. But fine, you turn around and trek back down the path you came. Oh, would you look at that? You're at the cabin again. Now, I'm not normally one for superstition or astrology, but I have to say, it seems like the universe itself is doing its best to bring you to your fated confrontation with the princess.
There's no fighting this, is there? Oh yeah, well, I guess I start walking to a different direction. Again, in fact, I'm going to just keep trekking through the wilderness until I find a way out of this
There's always
place.
a choice. Let me tell you right now that you're making the wrong one for pretty much everyone who has ever lived, as well as for everyone who ever will. And here we go. As you trudge into the woods, something strange starts to happen. At first, it's little flickers out of the corner of your eyes. Glimpses of familiar wooden structures through the leaves. But as you focus on your surroundings, you start to realize that those flickers weren't just a trick of light. In every direction, there is a path and a cabin. And not just a cabin, the cabin. An infinite fractal of paths and cabins desperately trying to draw you back to where you need to be.
Wait, what's going on?
You're too stubborn for that, aren't you? It doesn't matter how many paths or cabins appear around you, you're just going to do whatever you can to shirk your responsibility because you care more about irritating me than you do about the fate of the world. You've doomed us all, you know that, right? But of course you do. Otherwise you wouldn't just wander off into the forest in search of certain death. You lose track of just how long you spend aimlessly tromping through the wilderness. But it's not like any of that time spent lost in the woods really matters, because it isn't long before the world ends and everyone dies.
Okay, what's chapter?
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Wait, listen. Okay, no. find can she actually ended the world last damage. Oh, you bastards, you're the I did the world ended, what am I doing here? You can just fast
What are you talking about? I'm sure those walls have always been there. It makes sense if you think about it. If there weren't any walls in the woods, someone might have gotten lost. Or, heaven forbid, someone other than you might have stumbled onto the princess. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. I don't know. I think it's more fun if he knows what we're thinking. He's like a captive audience. He might have walled off everything but the path to the cabin, but I'm sure there's plenty of other ways we can ruin his day. If by ruining my day, you mean ruining everyone's day forever, then yes, I suppose there are plenty of ways you could pull that off. The world really did end last time, didn't it? We should be careful. For all we know, we just got lucky. The world hasn't ended yet. And you are never going to slay her with that attitude. Stuff those pathetic little voices to the back of your mind and stay focused on the task ahead.
Yeah, surface of the cabin. If you can run away from the cabin, then just stay first in the woods forever. Yep, okay, heading to the cabin now. We're definitely going to stay the prison.
Oh, that's clever! A little boring, though. It's extremely boring. Can we really do that? Can we really just do nothing? No, you can't just do nothing. You have to do something. Alright, so it's decided. Even if it's boring, we're going to do nothing forever. Congratulations, you continue to waste everyone's time and do nothing. Wait, can you still hear me? Everything's getting fuzzy. What is that weird feeling? It's like I'm barely even here anymore. Well, it's not nothing, that's for sure. Does that mean we messed up?
What around you is unwanted. Physical matter replaced by texture. Nothing. Once within one quiet, once again memory returns. There's a distance rumbling, a sound of many sounds. And the oceans, pulse, water, something. I don't know what was in the empty spaces. Viewers probe across the fabrics of VOD. Extremities find your consciousness. Wrap themselves around it. You're no longer alone. Confusion. Why are you here? Haven't finished. Resistance. Fingers. Drag. Claws across the glass surface of your soul. Frustration. This vessel is full of you. Is useless to us if it doesn't bring more gifts. Force pushing against your will. No, you cannot go back. Not there. Regret. This world is broken beyond repair. We must weave something new. A witching finger. There is only so much thread in this place. Do not waste it. Salvation.
You're on a path in the wood.
Okay, man. I got that. What was it?
Yes, but you'll have to.
Isto é cenas que eu já vi.
I'm talking about the end of every.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get this over with.
Good. As long as you remain focused on your goal, it should all be smooth sailing. You make your way up the short path to the. A warning. She will lie. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty. The blade is your implement.
Enter the basement.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Think I'm about to say.
You are? It's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone?
I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains? Okay.
What's your name?
Oh.
She pauses, carefully formulating her words before she responds.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness. Or you can just call me Princess if Your Royal Highness is too formal.
Is Princess her name or her title? What if it's both? Could you imagine being named Princess?
Says you're a princess.
Like I said, you can call me Princess if you'd like. I'm sorry, I've been down here so long I guess I've just forgotten. I must have a name though. Everyone has a name.
Okay, that's weird. She hadn't even thought to pick a name for herself. Hopefully you're starting to see that she can't be trusted. Go back upstairs, get the blade, and slay her before it's too late.
I don't know anything about you, for all I know your accent. If I'm the first you've seen in a while, what have you been eating or drinking? As soon as it happens, on the road. As you let you out. Okay, check. Isto.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
How
This
the
is the only
fuck
time
are you
this is
alive?
ever going to happen, but I agree with the princess. That's hardly relevant.
Okay, but actually, what has she been eating? She has to eat, right?
I need to keep it with I'm sorry. Wait, just use the baby without saying another word. Oh, I know you're locked out on there for a reason.
Of course I'm locked up down here for a reason. I don't actually know what that reason is, but you don't just stuff a princess in a basement and throw away the key without there being some sort of an explanation, right?
You have all the explanation you need. You should know better than to trust whatever she comes up with.
Where are you going to the Fawajari?
The princess hesitates before responding.
She doesn't know. She's been down here too long to have any idea of what she'd do in another life.
She knows what she'd do. She's just searching for whatever answer she thinks you want to hear.
Are you looking for the truth, or are you looking for the right answer? Because with the dynamic we have going on here, I don't think the specifics of what I do really matter. It's not like you'd believe me.
I didn't think it actually did, but I wanted to see for myself. I'm still not sure what to believe.
Is want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down here for so long.
That's... How long has she been locked away?
Did they tell you how I'm supposed to end the world?
Little enough. That's a bit of Tommy. No problem should have. No, which is why I don't think.
I don't know how to destroy the world, if that's what you're getting at.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. I don't trust that. And I don't think you do either, or you wouldn't have come down here to talk.
She has a point. We're talking like this for a reason.
So this shouldn't be about what I'd do if I got out of here, or me saying the right thing to convince you to save me. This is about how messed up this whole situation is. This is my life we're talking about. Do you really think I can even end the world? Why would I even want to? We both know that if there's people we can't trust in this situation, it's whoever locked me down here, and it's whoever sent you here. And those two groups are probably one and the same.
Don't let her turn the tables here. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch, no less.
I won't kill you, but I can just set you free. It's too risky. What if I stayed for a while? I don't know.
That seems like a pretty good compromise.
I don't think I could bear being down here that much longer.
Leaving her alive is too risky. If you don't deal with her soon, she will find a way out. So I'm the only one who liked that idea.
One way or another, I'm going to find a way out of here. It would make it easier for both of us if you'd help. But if you don't, I can promise that you'll regret that decision.
You have to make a choice. Let's hope for all our sakes it's the right one.
She's always.
You can't be serious.
Thank you. Thank you. You won't regret this, I promise.
You're making a huge mistake. No, I think you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
And if there isn't a key?
Okay. I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here? Your shouts and pleas are met with silence. I'll repeat myself once again. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done. You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth,
God
her
damn.
teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
So,
Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit.
She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal.
No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground.
How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it! Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive. The blade! Move the blade! As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her blade work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks.
It can't just end like this, right?
Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over. Everything goes dark. And you die.
Themselves.
You're on a path in the woods. You're here to
So the princess... Je ne sais. Bem. Então, como é que eu dou o get the fuck out aqui? Auto. Titanium mete-me ali. Bem. Por acaso estava a porrer hoje. Descontinuo mais amanhã.